Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The April 24th, 2025 meeting of the Medford Planning Commission will now come to order. Kaylee, can we have a roll call, please?
Rachel Bennett. Brad Bennington.
Here.
Larry Busco.
Here.
David Culbertson. Mark McKechnie.
Here.
EJ McManus.
Here.
Jared Pulver.
Here.
Jeff Thomas. Jim Wallen.
Here.
Roll has been taken.
Thank you, and we have a quorum. So tonight's agenda is available on the city's website for those watching from home. The order of business this evening will consist of consent calendar and written communications, minutes, public hearings, and reports. Item 20 is the consent calendar and written communications. Have commissioners reviewed the consent calendar and written communication items? And if so, are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion?
Sorry. Chair, I move to adopt a consent calendar and any written communications as submitted.
Thank you. This is a voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Mr. Chair, you need a second, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did we need a second. Thank you. All right, now we can move on. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item 30 is the minutes. Have commissioners review the minutes of the Planning Commission meeting of April 10th, 2025, and if so, are there any additions or corrections to be noted? Okay, seeing none, the minutes will stand as submitted. Item 40, oral requests and communications from the audience. This is an opportunity for members of the audience to address the commission on matters that are not on tonight's agenda. If you wish to speak, please come forward to the podium, sign in, and tell us your name and your concern. All right, I'm not seeing a great rush here, so we will move on. Tonight's public hearing will be conducted as quasi-judicial hearings. If you plan to testify, please listen carefully to the following prepared statement regarding the procedural rules that govern these hearings. The statement will be read by Mr. Alan Moreland, Deputy City Attorney.
I'm going to explain the rules that govern these hearings. Before the hearing begins, city staff will give a report. The report will list the criteria that govern the city's decision. After the staff report, the hearing will be open for other speakers. The applicant will speak first and may ask for a rebuttal time. Following the applicant, any other interested person will be allowed to speak. Any testimony, argument, or evidence you give must relate to the criteria listed in the staff report or other criteria in the comprehensive plan or land use regulations that you believe apply to the decision. If you fail to raise an issue or do not give the commission sufficient information so that the commission and any party can respond, you will not be able to appeal that issue to the Land Use Board of Appeals. If you do not raise constitutional or other issues about any proposed condition with specificity so that the commission can respond to that issue, you will not be able to bring a court action for damages. Before the hearing is closed, anyone who needs more time to present evidence must ask for more time. If you ask, the hearing will be continued or the record will be kept open, and you will have at least 7 days to present additional written evidence.
Thank you. In order to proceed through this evening's agenda in a timely manner, except at the Commission's request, applicants giving testimony will be given 10 minutes to present their application. Individuals who have comments about these applications will be given 3 minutes to respond, or 5 minutes if they are representing a group or organization. And 5 minutes will be given to the applicant for rebuttal. Item 50.1 CUP 25-040, request for a major modification to the conditional use permit to CUP 20-353. The proposal is for a pickleball facility and new neighborhood park at the Howard Memorial Sports Park campus located southwest of Ross Anley Drive and Ross Lane. The site consists of a single parcel approximately 53.38 acres in size and is within the SFR 00 zoning district. The applicant is the City of Medford Department of Parks, Recreation, and Facilities. The agent is Kim Treview. The planner is Stefan Ronfeld. Staff is requested to continue this item to the May 8th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting. If there is anyone in the audience that has come to testify on this agenda item and cannot make the May 8th meeting, please come forward and the Planning Commission will hear your testimony at this time. Please keep in mind, however, that your questions may be answered at the May 8th meeting and May 8th meeting. Sorry, there will be no decisions made this evening on this agenda item. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone come forward. So if we have, looking for a motion to continue.
Chair, I move to continue CUP-25-040 to the May 8th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
This is a voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. So ordered. Agenda item 50.2, ZC 25-006, proposal for a city-initiated zone change from SFR 00, single-family residential, one dwelling unit per existing lot, to MFR 20, multifamily residential, 20 dwelling units per gross acre of 4 parcels totaling approximately 1.75 acres, located on Charlotte Ann Road. The applicant agent is the City of Medford. The planner is Sarah Souza. Excuse me. Does any commissioner have a conflict of interest or ex parte contact to disclose regarding this application? Okay, seeing none. Excuse me. Does anybody in attendance wish to question the commission as to conflicts of interest or ex parte contacts? Seeing none. Sarah, can we have a staff report, please?
Sure. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Sarah Souza with the Planning Department. This is a city-initiated zone change. It's for the Charlotte Ann Road area, and it's planning file number ZC 25-006. So I just want to go over a little background with you. Some of it you've heard before. Probably a lot of this you've heard before, but criteria, the project summary. I'm going to give you some property information, and then we'll look at some surrounding property information, and then we'll look at the findings and end with a recommendation. The city changed the general land use plan designation of about approximately 500 acres back in 2014, and that was part of the urban growth boundary amendment process. And but no zone changes were done in conjunction with those general land use plan designation changes. So because of that, the city began a program in about 2020 to change the zoning on some smaller properties that were redesignated as part of that process. So the subject properties tonight were part of that. They originally had the urban residential designation. Now they were given the urban high density designation. And how it works is that we send letters out to property owners within areas that were designated, and we ask if they are interested in a zone change. And so what we do is we collect any consent forms from those property owners in that area. We got 4 within this specific area off of Charlotte Ann Road. And then the city just processes the zone changes on behalf of the property owners. And what that essentially means is that the the property owners don't have to apply or submit an application or have to pay a fee, anything like that. The city takes care of everything for the property owners. In this particular case, there was a traffic impact analysis that was required, and the city also paid for that on behalf of the property owners. So this truly is a city-initiated process with consenting property owners. And this is the 5th round of this program that we've had, and it's the 2nd time we've looked at this Charlotte Ann Road area. And even though this is a city-initiated zone change, this is still a minor zone change, which is type 3 quasi-judicial procedure, and the Planning Commission is the approving authority. And on the screen, you have the criteria for zone changes. We'll go over each of these in a moment, but we did address all of this in the staff report. All of the criteria have been found to be either satisfied or not applicable. So looking more closely now at the properties, as I mentioned, there's 4 properties in this particular zone change. They've all been highlighted in that red hatched, you can see the red hatched areas are all the 4 properties that are included. The total of all 4 properties is 1.75 acres. They all do have that urban high density general land use designation. They currently all have the city's holding zone of SFR 00, and the proposal is to change all 4 properties to MFR 20. The 4 properties are listed here on the screen. It shows basically what I've just told you. The urban high density designation is their GLUP designation, their existing zoning, the proposed zoning. 3 of the 4 properties have a single family home on it. They're all just under under half acre, and this lists the property owners as well. So looking at where this is located, Charlotte Ann Road is off of South Pacific Highway. It's located in southwest Medford. You have the Charles Point Apartments to the south. You've got Interstate 5 to the east. Bear Creek Facility Corporation facility on the west. Some undeveloped land just to the north of this area. The general land use plan designation, you can see is pretty clear here, is urban high density residential. It's pretty much surrounded by commercial as well. And I've again highlighted the properties that are part of this zone change. This is showing the surrounding, there's the zoning surrounding the area. You've got regional commercial, heavy commercial, and SFR 00. You can see that in some places it kind of, the zone change tonight would fill in some of these gaps and these sort of blocks of MFR 20 zoning. But the zoning that you do see along Charlotte Ann Road, the brown that you see is really from the initial, one of our previous rounds of city-initiated zone changes where the city took on 11 properties at that time and did the zone change. So we'll get to the findings and conclude here. The first one, so the proposed zone is consistent with the transportation system plan and the general land use plan designation. As I mentioned earlier and as addressed in the staff report, there was a traffic impact analysis that was submitted, and it found that no significant impact to the transportation system. Our Public Works Department has agreed with that conclusion. And also the urban high density general land use designation is consistent with the zoning that's proposed, which is MFR 20. There needs to be consistency with the locational criteria, and in this case, there are no locational criteria for zone changes to multifamily zones. And then lastly, we have to find that Category A urban services and facilities are available or can be and will be provided to serve subject properties under the new zoning. And we have exhibits in the record that demonstrate that these Category A facilities are adequate to serve the properties with the proposed zoning. So with that, our recommended action is for the commission to adopt the findings as recommended by staff and direct us to prepare a final order for approval of ZC 25006 per the staff report dated April 17th, 2025, and that includes exhibits A through F. So I hope I made it nice and quick for you. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Any questions of staff on this one? Do you have a question? Oh, okay. All right. No questions.
Okay.
All right. We will open the public hearing. And do we have anybody that would like to speak regarding this application? Okay, I'm not seeing anybody rush to the podium. Any additional comments by staff? Engineering, anything? No, thank you. Legal, anything?
Nope.
Okay, we will close the public hearing. And we have a motion for consideration.
Chair, I move to adopt the findings as recommended by staff and direct staff to prepare a final order for approval of ZC-25-006 per the staff report dated April 17th, 2025, including exhibits A through F.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion on this item? Okay, not seeing any. Kaylee, can we have a roll call, please?
Mark McKechnie,
Yes.
Brad Bennington,
Yep.
Jared Pulver,
Yes.
Jim Wallen,
Yes.
Larry Busco,
Yes.
EJ McManus.
Yes.
We have 6 yeses.
Thank you. The motion passes. Good luck with the project. Okay, moving on. Item 50.3 LDS 25-003, consideration of a request for approval of Centennial Village subdivision, a 113-lot residential subdivision on approximately 110.6 gross acres located on the south side of Wanapero Way at the southerly terminus of Gulfview Drive, within the SFR 4, single-family residential, 4 dwelling units per gross acre, and the MFR 30, multifamily residential, 30 dwelling units per gross acre zoning districts. The applicant is PRS. The agent is Richard Stevens and Associates. The planner is Stefan Ronfeld. Does any commissioner have a conflict of interest or ex parte contact to disclose regarding this application?
Chair, I may have a potential conflict, so I'm going to recuse myself.
All right. All right. Then does anyone in attendance wish to question the commission as to conflicts of interest or ex parte contacts? Okay. Stefan, how about a staff report?
Sure. Good evening, Commissioner. Stefan Rundfeld with the Planning Department. Next up, the Centennial Village subdivision phases 1 and 2 of many more to come in the future. As always, this thing doesn't work. Switching to the mouse. We start with the applicable criteria, and for subdivisions, they're found in section 10.202 sub 5, and they have been addressed in the staff report. And then we'll go over them at the end of the presentation. So we are located around the Centennial, northern part of the Centennial Golf Course, west of North Phoenix Road, south of Junipero, however, I think that's the right way to pronounce it. We're looking at 2 parcels for this application and a little over 100 acres, 110.6 acres in size. It is within the urban residential and urban high-density residential zoning club map designations, which matches the existing zoning for SFR 4 for the urban residential, and then we have MFR 30 for the multifamily urban high-density parts up in the northwest corner. And then this is a type 3 land use decision, so the Planning Commission is the approving authority tonight. A little bit of background, so probably all of you have dealt with this project at some point in the past. So it first started in 2016 when the area was added to the UGB as part of MD5F. Then we moved on with the urbanization plan and the annexation in July of 2020. And then in 2021, the Planning Commission approved the planned unit development and zone change for the entire area. And that's on the right, you can see the master plan for the PUD. And that master plan is pretty close reflected in the tentative plats that you will see here in a little bit. So if you can see the highlighted areas up in black up there on the top, those are the areas we're dealing with tonight. As part of the PUD, the Planning Commission did approve some modifications that were requested by the applicant. For this application, there's 2 of them that will apply, and that's one is private streets were approved, and as a part of the gated community that this area will be in the future. And also some through lots were proposed with double frontage, and that's on Gulfview Drive up to the north. So those requests, the changes were approved as part of the PUD. For the current proposal, we have before us tonight 111 single-family residential lots in the area highlighted right here. We have 1 private open space park area in the middle of the SFR lots, and then we have 2 multifamily lots in the northwest corner, and those will approve the lots tonight, but development will have to come back through SPAC for the exact design. So we haven't seen anything on this yet. If we look at density, and that's for the SFR 4, so for the single family zoned areas, we have a minimum of 64 with a maximum of 112. We are right at the maximum, almost at 111 proposed units. And then lots 70 and 71 are the ones that are zoned MFR 30. Again, we'll look at those later, but the minimum density for those two lots will be a little over 400 dwelling units. So it'll be a pretty big project coming to spec in the future. Development standards, Commission can find that all of the standards, that's minimum lot width, minimum lot depth, minimum lot frontages have been met. That's what I usually say at this time, but it's not the case for this one. When we looked at the tentative plan, we found out that 75 of the 111 lots were below the required minimum lot area of 6,500 square feet. There was a mix-up somewhere at some point in time where the applicant thought 6,000 is the minimum required lot size for the zoning district. It's actually 6,500. But luckily, a couple years ago, we did adopt flexible design standards, which do say that the approving authority shall approve for up to 15% of the lots, reductions for up to 12% for lot area. So those 12% come up to about 780 square feet. So the 6,000 square foot area is okay again because we're reducing those lots. And what we did here, we applied these flexible design standards to the entire area of the proposed PUD. So 15% of the proposed 572 single-family lots allows us to amend 86 parcels. So with the 75 that are below the lot standards, we're within that threshold. That's just something for the applicant to keep in mind, that for the future phases, there's 75 to 86, so there might be 11 more lots that they could potentially amend or use those flexible design standards. There were also 7 lots, I believe, that were substandard when it came to lot width, but those can also be amended with the flexible design standards. And they were also the ones that were below the required lot area, so we're not double dipping here. So we're all good. Like I said earlier, through lots were permitted through the PUD. I've highlighted the 4 lots that are through lots for this application. So no issues there. And then when we adopted the PUD, there was a maximum amount of vehicular trips. So this is just an overview of the accounting. This will probably show up in every future subdivision where we keep track of how many trips will be accepted into this entire development. And then the only vehicular mitigation measure that came out of this application was for the applicant to install a left turn lane. I think the right of way is already wide enough, so it might just be striping on Juanipero Way for left turns into future Gulfview Drive. That kind of goes down here. We did receive a few comments, not from neighbors. They're all printed in the staff report. Most of them were concerned with the future multifamily development, which we, at this point, do not know what this will look like. We haven't received any new reports since or statements since the report was printed. And with that, all the applicable criteria have been addressed and have been met by the applicant, so we do recommend approval for this application, and that's including exhibits A through M, and then authorizing the maximum 5-year approval period for phased subdivisions. Thank you. Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Stefan. Any questions? I got a couple for you. Can we pull up a site plan maybe?
Yep. This one?
Well, the one that has the lots is probably easier to,
The one that has what?
the lots? I mean, and we're not approving a tentative plat tonight, correct? We're just.
No, we are.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay, well, where's the tentative plat then?
Well, I probably didn't include a snip here in the report. They're on pages, I don't have page number.
No, but it's in the staff report, it's just
It's in the
not-
staff report,
It's
yeah.
just not in the, okay.
Yeah,
All
just
right.
not on the screen. So this is just an overview of the entire area, but the actual tentative plat was.
I see, okay. And, well, I can ask a couple. So, we've got, looks like lot 70 and 71. Are those both over 3 acres inside? It's a little hard to see.
They are 11.6 and 8.5 acres.
Okay, and,
are the
so
two-
they're both gonna go to SPAC?
Yeah.
And, is there it looks like we've got a north-south roadway between them. Does that tie into something that goes, connects
This
back?
here ties
Yeah.
into Olympic Avenue. So
Okay.
it does tie into
All right.
existing
And
street.
the squiggle on the kind of the southeast side, that's Gulfview, no, not that far, next to the multifamily. That's Gulfview Drive, and that's gonna be a public street?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And then anything coming off of Gulfview to the south.
South would be
southeast.
private, so that
Yep.
little, looks like a turnaround is where presumably the gate would be?
Yep,
Okay,
that's correct.
okay. No, I don't have any other questions other than that. Thanks for the clarifications.
And that all matches the approved PUD master plan
Okay.
from the
right.
original approval.
Okay, with that, we will open the public hearing and ask the agent to come forward and talk about the project.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. For the record, my name is Clark Stevens with Richard Stevens and Associates. We're located at 244 South Grape Street here in Medford, Oregon, representing the applicant, Pacific Retirement Services, with this subdivision application. Mr. McLemore is also present, representing PRS, if there's any detailed questions with this application. Staff's presentation was very thorough and complete, which addressed the applicable criteria. As staff mentioned, this is part of the first phases of the approved PUD plan, and we're consistent with what was approved under that plan. Staff also mentioned we're in compliance with section 10.202 for subdivisions, and all of the streets are lined up as part of the approved PUD plan and all the existing streets. We've reviewed the conditions of the approval, and we're in agreement with all of those. And with that, I will conclude and be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Any questions of the yes, sir.
And just for my clarification, if I remember right, and might have said it in the report, but phase 2, all the single-family residents in there, is that going to be a 55 and older community, and that's all that's in?
Right, so pretty much everything east of Gulfview Drive, as it goes south, will be part of the AARC.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I have one more general question, and it has to do with the traffic study that actually Stefan, did that also factor in the multifamily houses, or was yours?
No, that, because we don't know what the dwelling unit count is going to be within that. So the study or the trip analysis was strictly for the single family that we know what we're going to have. So
Okay.
It'll be a progressive accounting that we're going to have to do for each phase as we develop. So
For the single family, and then presumably you'd have to redo the study for a multifamily if it
well,
goes
we've
over-
already done the entire traffic study with the zone change. So this is just going to be
Oh.
a trip accounting where, because there's multiple thresholds and triggers for street improvements.
Yeah.
So the first one is that left turn lane on Juan Aparo to go south. So that's the first trigger. And as we add trips to it, there'll be additional triggers added on, like contribution to a signal at North Phoenix and Juan Aparo, and et cetera, et cetera. So as we progress, there'll be triggers with the,
Okay,
based on the traffic study that's already approved.
okay. And, but again, so the multifamily trips are not included in the 22,000 trips that we've got here, so, right? PUD master plan?
The master plan, yes, the whole master plan has been approved, and as what Stefan just brought up, so phase 1 and 2, strictly the single family, is 647.
No, right, but at
So-
some point when the multifamily comes in, you figure that the trips for the multifamily are part of the 22,500. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay,
All right.
good, thank you. Yes, sir.
If I just, I got, so I just want clarification on what you just told Chair McKechnie, is that the 647 include the multifamily in phase 1?
No.
It
The
doesn't?
trip accounting, no, because
Okay.
we don't know what those unit
Right.
numbers
And,
are.
and before phase 1 goes to site plan and architectural commission, that number is going to be shown at that time?
That, absolutely,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
We would have to account for that.
Okay, all right, good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Reserve time for rebuttal?
If you need it, you got it. Okay, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak regarding this application? All right. I'm not seeing anybody race forward, so we will, does planning have any additional comments? Engineering have anything to add? No, thank you, Chair. Legal?
No.
Okay, and I assume then that the rebuttal is not necessary, so we will close the public hearing, and can we have a motion for consideration?
Mr. Chair, I move we adopt the findings as recommended by staff and direct staff to prepare a final order for approval of LDS-25-003 per the staff report dated April 17, 2025, including Exhibits A through M, and authorizing the maximum 5-year approval period for phased subdivisions.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this agenda item? All right, seeing none. Kaylee, can we have a roll call, please?
EJ McManus,
Yes.
Jim Wallen,
Yes.
Brad Bennington,
Yep.
Mark McKechnie,
Yes.
Larry Busco.
Yes.
We have 5 yeses.
Okay, thank you. Motion, excuse me, passes. Good luck with your project. Okay. Agenda item 50.4, ZC 25-035, proposal for a zone change from SFR 00, single-family residential, 1 dwelling unit per lot, to SFR 6, single-family residential, 6 dwelling units per gross acre, of a single parcel totaling approximately 1.19 acres, located east of Lozier Lane and fronted by Cherry Street along its easterly boundary. Excuse me, the applicant is IBH Investments, Inc. The agent is Metro Planning. The planner is Dustin Severs. Does any commissioner have a conflict of interest or ex parte contact to disclose regarding this application? Okay, seeing none, does anyone in attendance wish to question the commission as to conflicts of interest or ex parte contacts? Not seeing anything there either. Stefan, how about a staff report?
Thank you. Dustin Severs with the Planning Department. Next up, we have a zone change off of Cherry Street. This is file number ZC 25-035. Criteria for a zone change are found in section 10.204. I have it summarized here on the screen. The full criteria are included in your staff reports. Beginning by looking at the project summary. So the subject site is, you see, is a flag lot. It's 1.19 acres located in southwest Medford. As you see, there's a long flagpole which extends out to Cherry Street. Cherry Street is a Jackson County maintained roadway. So we did receive a staff report from Jackson County, and they included some comments, but they're all regarding the future development of the site. Look at the surrounding area, it's largely residential. I should point out just to the south east of the site is Cherry Street's meet. And just a few years ago, this body approved a planned unit development in this area, which included a 6-lot subdivision. So it was a phased development. I haven't moved forward on this yet, but maybe seeing that subdivision in the near future. Next slide shows an image of the subject site looking down the gravel roadway, which runs through the flagpole. The aerial view is a little skewed, so the gravel area is actually within the flagpole.
And there was a house in an accessory structure on this property dating back to about 1930. So this aerial view, since this aerial view was captured about a year ago, that both have been removed, and they currently have a building permit application in to construct a new house on the property as shown on the site plan here. I'll show a conceptual layout of a future subdivision. This has not been approved, it hasn't been submitted yet. They did do a pre-application a couple of years ago showing this same type of subdivision. So when they do come with the subdivision, they have to extend Vic Lane as shown on the site plan here, and they also have to address Little Creek, Little Elk Creek, which runs south and north through the property. So at the time of development, we'll reach out to Department of Fish and Wildlife, Corps of Engineers, and get comments from them. So likely be some mitigation that have to be required when they do come in with that subdivision application. Site's general land use plan designation is urban residential. Its zoning is SFR 00, which is the holding zone we apply to properties when they're annexed into the city from the county, and they stay SFR 00 until they go through the zone change, at which time we look at facility adequacy. There are no overlays associated with the site, and the proposal is to change the zoning from SFR 00 to SFR 6, which will be the same as the residential properties just abutting the site to the north. Not a whole lot to look at this. So per the general land use plan element of the comprehensive plan, the urban residential glut designation allows for all of our single family zones, including the proposed SFR 6 zone. So we'll jump into our findings. So there's three main criteria that we look at for zone change. We already said that the glut designation allows for the SFR 6 zone. There's no traffic impact analysis was required with the application, so the first criterion is satisfied. Regarding criterion 2, there are no locational criteria for a zone change to SFR 6, so that criterion is inapplicable. And the agency, we received comments from all the agencies, city departments, as well as RVSS in the Jackson County roads, and it can be found that facilities will be adequate at the time of future development. So all three criteria are satisfied. So with that, we ask that you adopt the findings recommended by staff and direct staff to prepare the final order of approval for ZC 25-035 per the staff report dated April 17th, 2025, and that includes exhibits A through J. And I'd like to point out that the applicant's agents, Metro Planning, they're based out of Springfield. They were on the call on Zoom. And with that, I can take questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dustin. Any questions? I have probably one here, so, or maybe two. So we've got a building permit in for basically a replacement with kind of an individual lot that has the long driveway, right? Are there any issues with that? Does that make it too long of a flag lot, or?
No, it's an existing lot. As far as if they do go through the 4-lot subdivision to the west, and those 4 properties will be taking access from Vic Lane, so it'll just be this one house up front that will be accessing the property off of this gravel driveway, and the driveway will have to be paved with the building permit.
And the land to the south of this is, what's that zone?
You have light industrial. The Cherry Street meets is
No,
light
no,
industrial.
the other.
Then
yeah,
SFR 10. So the
is that
PUD,
SFR 10?
Yeah, so the PUD was the SFR 10's the residential area, and then they'll all put a second commercial building to the north of the existing one.
Have we, looks like it's called 978 maybe. Have we seen anything for development of that? Or lots 400 and 500 maybe? The piece that would
No.
be just to the west of Cherry Street?
No. So like 500 would be that subdivision that we got.
Oh, that's the
tenant-
Cherry Street subdivision?
Yeah, it's in this section
I
right
see.
here.
So they've got, if we go back and look at that, it has a dead-end street that abuts this little house that's going in, right? Or are we
recall.
off?
Let's take a look at their site plan. I'm not sure if it shows it or not.
Yeah, no, not theirs, but
Yeah.
the one that you showed, the one for Cherry Street, their PUD. Let's look at that.
Here's the
Okay,
one for Cherry Street, or I'm sorry,
No.
yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't provide the Cherry Street meets? Yeah, I
Yeah, you
did
did.
earlier. That's right. There it is. There it is. I got it.
There you go, okay. All right. So, I see. It's gonna be just south of this parcel.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yes, yeah,
So
there.
they've, all right, they got it. Okay, so it looks like it fits. Okay, that's all I had. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
And I understand that the layout of that development is not part of the zone change, but they do show Vic Lane going straight, whereas below the other lot, Vic Lane the alignment is actually like around 100 foot to the east. I guess when they come in, we'll address the alignment of what Vic Lane might look like.
Yeah, that's correct. They did the pre-application. I can't recall what they said about, they didn't, I'm not sure if they showed Vic Lane when they did the
Okay.
pre-application a couple of years ago, but it was made clear they would have to extend it. I'm not sure if we went in details about its location. And then you got the creek, which is just to the east of Vic Lane, so that poses another issue as far as where it's located at.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay. If we have no other questions, now, you said the applicant is on Zoom here, so we can, all right.
That is
We'll
correct. Can you hear me
Open
okay?
the public hearing and ask the applicant to talk about the project.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, excellent. My name is Kim O'Day from Metro Planning. Just as a start, I've not worked in Medford very much, and I just want to say how I want to thank staff. It has been very smooth, and the processes that the city of Medford have put together to go through these type of developments were very smooth, and we had the information we needed. So that's just a general, hey, thank you very much. I appreciate all the work that the city's doing to make this such a smooth process. So on this particular project, we're not doing a subdivision yet. We're not doing any development yet. We're just changing the zoning from SFR 00 to an opportunity to do more development per acre. So we're going to match the land to the north when it's done. No change in designation. We're just correcting zoning. Like the staff report was wonderful, so I don't have a lot to add. But as stated, that SFR 00 is kind of a holding pattern zoning until we get to a point where we're going to rezone it. And the approval criteria, this project met those criteria fairly easily because the area is so developed with residential uses. So we had lots of services and transportation was generally sufficient. So I appreciate staff's work on this. And if you have any questions, please, I'm here to answer questions mostly.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of the applicant? All right, I'm not seeing any, so I think you're off the hook. Okay,
Excellent. Thank you.
and there's nobody here, so you probably don't need to reserve time for rebuttal either. Okay, moving on here, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak regarding this application? And I'm not seeing it. I don't know. Doug, you want to have something to say? Well, somebody. Okay, never mind. I'm just being foolish here. Okay, planning have anything to add? And engineering already said no. Legal have anything to add?
Nope.
Okay, with that, we will close the public hearing. And do we have a motion for consideration?
Chair, I move that we adopt the findings recommended by staff and direct staff to prepare the final order of approval for ZC-25-035 per the staff report dated April 17th, 2025, including exhibits A through J.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on this agenda item? All right, seeing none, Kaylee, can we have a roll call, please?
Jim Wallen,
Yes.
EJ McManus,
Yes.
Larry Busco,
Yes.
Brad Bennington,
Yes.
Jared Pulver,
Yes.
and Mark McKechnie.
Yes.
We have 6 yeses.
Thank you. Motion passes, and Ms. O'Day, good luck with your project. Okay, that concludes
Thank you very much.
tonight's public hearings, and we'll move on to item 60, presentation of reports. Mr. Pulver.
Yeah, we met yesterday with the Transportation Commission. Spent a lot of time talking about the Transportation Safety Action Plan update. My parents said if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, so I'm just going to tell you we heard about it. It's 100 pages, and if you want it, I'll give you a copy of it. Fire was there talking about a minor residential street width change to the code. So I think if I understand the process, we may, I don't know if we have to instruct staff to do it or not, but I think staff's going to be working up a code change eventually, whether we tell them to or not, and then we'll see it, I think. Spring Street between Crater Lake Avenue and Springbrook. We got some funding to do kind of the 10% design or something like that, I think is the term. So we saw that, which was kind of interesting. I guess as a sidebar, I would say that one's a funny one. Like it's in our TSP. I think council likes the project, like conceptually, since McAndrews went down to one lane each direction. They sort of view Spring Street as a place to pick up some of that volume. And I think the Transportation Commission at least is a little bit torn as to, I mean, they understand that would be nice for the system. They're concerned, and as is Councilor Card, as to the uproar or potential uproar of the neighborhood when that happens. So anyway, if you guys hear any thoughts about that or have any thoughts about that, I'd be happy to take them back to the group since I'm just one person. And then the last thing we talked about was the Main Street bike lane issue. So council heard I think staff came up with like 15 options, maybe even more, to kind of kick around. I think council directed them to further study 3 of them, I believe, or maybe have further discussion on 3 of them. I think I'm blanking on what one of them was, but one of the most basic one I think is kind of take Main Street somewhat back to what it was and have a conventional bike lane on one side of the road, and modify 8th Street to a sort of similar vein. So have a bike lane going west on Main, a bike lane going east on 8th. Probably some parking that would be eliminated at least on 8th Street to achieve that. I can't remember and then the big one that is the real expensive option is I think what they were talking about is making both Main and 8th a single lane of traffic in each direction. And I think bike would only be on Main, but separate lanes in both direction, to not like it is right now with the super track. Kelly's shaking her head, so maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, but that's the really expensive option. Like, I think that's a big number, so I don't know if that will ever fly. I can't remember what the third one is though, but it was more in line with the first one I was talking about. I just don't remember what it is. So anyway, more to come on that, but that one was kind of interesting too. So that was it.
Thank you. Site Plan and Architectural Commission, are you going to be able to stand in on that for that one? Thanks.
All right, well, good evening, Commissioners. I am Kelly Aiken from your Planning Department. Site Plan Architectural Commission met last week. They approved 2 kind of groovy projects. First, they approved the Elements Hotel. That's downtown. It's at 4th and Bartlett on the northeasterly corner. It's 134 rooms, so we'll have a really nice downtown hotel. I don't remember the product. I think it's a Marriott product. I don't recall for sure. And the other project that they approved was for access behind Hobby Lobby and whatnot on Learway. They're adding a 17,000 square foot office building. It'll be right on the corner of Lear and I think it's Cardinal. So that's what SPAC did last week. So 2 pretty interesting projects for us. A big one for downtown. For this body, I have a couple things. So most of you have taken the OJEC training, and one of the things that we've learned as staff is that we need to be more mindful about how we record your votes. We need to make sure that votes are recorded by person. So one of the things that we're going to do is eliminate voice votes. So everything will be roll call in the future, just so you know. Let's see. Downtown 2040 update, we had the study session, was that just last week? And then they're having an open house at the Palette Wine Company downtown on Tuesday, May the 13th. That's at 6 o'clock. So please, if you're able, please attend. That would be most excellent. Let's see what else. Business, I have business for your next 3 meetings. So that's May 8th, May 22nd, and June 12th. I don't think May 8th is going to be terrible. I think that there's like 4 hearings scheduled for May 22nd, so be prepared for that. Council last week, they approved an annexation on Lozier Lane. Coming up next week, they have the spec composition code amendment. We're taking forward your recommendation to do what council had initially asked, which was to consider eliminating the requirement for a landscaper on the body. And I think that that's about it. Busy times in your planning department. We got a whole bunch of stuff in last week.
Oh. All right, thank you. Any questions? Nope.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Messages or papers from the chair, nothing from me. Remarks from the city attorney?
Nothing.
Propositions and remarks from commission members? No, not seeing any. Okay, then we are adjourned.
All righty. Excellent job.
Nice and easy.
Yeah, see you.
I did, didn't I?